averlo visto trionfare a Manchester, sia io sia te. Eccolo qui in collegamento da casa sua a Summer Camp.
Welcome Richard.
Welcome to Radio DJ and welcome to Summer Camp.
Good to be here, mate. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. Ok, yeah, eccolo. Yeah. Senti, si parla tanto quando è uscita l'Over, no, tanti hanno detto ma Richard Ashcroft adesso ha usato dei campionamenti, ha campionato questo beat hip hop, ma io a tutte queste persone ho detto ma scusate, ma quando Richard aveva campionato i violini per fare Bittersweet Symphony era la stessa cosa. Quando entra Bittersweet Symphony lui ha sempre avuto questo gusto. I'm saying when Lover came out, a lot of my friends were like, hey, did you hear the new Richard Ashcroft? He's been sampling. He sounds almost has a hip-hop vibe. And I told them, what about when he sampled the strings to do Bittersweet Symphony? That also had like a very powerful beat in the beginning. I think you always liked to mess around with samples.
Always enjoyed sampling. It's a exciting way to approach songwriting. I like songwriting in a classical sense with acoustic guitar, piano, keyboards, but there's something about taking a sample and trying to create something brand new, you know?
Right.
The sample of Joan Armatrading, it's one of her most famous songs. But because I've loved hip-hop over the years, I always look for that little seam of gold that I want to hear over and over again.
Right.
But then I don't want to just kind of mumble over it. I want to create something that feels like a brand new song. So I think you're right in a sense that sampling and doing that way of creating songs has been something I've been doing now for 30 years on and off. I've sampled before Curtis Mayfield. I've sampled rare Bee Gees songs. I've sampled lots of different things. But, you know, I was just really happy that Jonah herself really liked the finished thing. And it's real euphoric sounding record, you know. It draws you in. It's big sounding. And it's looking towards the future because I'll never stop writing in a classical way, but I feel like young people, they're very eclectic now, the way they listen to things, you know, and what they like. And I think it's good to be at that point where you can make a piece of music and no one can really say what is it, you know? Is it hip hop? Is it still got a bit of rock and roll? What is it, you know? And I think that's exciting. It's like you can smash down those barriers between us, you know, and be creative as you get older. You know, I think sometimes people feel like when an artist gets to a certain age that they lose the ability to want to explore. And that's not to say I think maybe my next set of songs, they might be real just classic, just with the...
Right. Ok, let us translate this first beat, ok? Allora lui dice che si è sempre divertito un casino a campionare, effettivamente, no? Gli archi di Bittersweet Symphony presi da quel concerto dei Rolling Stone. Mi è sempre piaciuto, sono un fan dell'hip hop vecchia scuola. Questa volta in Lover c'è un campione di una canzone di Joan Armatrading, che tra l'altro ha apprezzato molto il modo in cui lui l'ha realizzata. Lui cerca sempre questo semino d'oro, no? Questa piccola parte della canzone che vuole ascoltare in loop, no? Quello è il campionamento, però poi non è che mi voglio fossilizzare, voglio creare una canzone nuova partendo da qualcosa che c'è già stato, un modo per abbattere le barriere e creare qualcosa che quando lo ascolti dici ma cos'è, hip hop, rock, vecchia scuola. Poi insomma mi piace comporre nella maniera tradizionale con la chitarra acustica e non è detto che le mie prossime canzoni non siano così, ma ho sempre campionato da Curtis Mayfield, da qualche canzone rara dei Bee Gees, e molti pensano che gli artisti di una certa si fossilizzano sui sistemi di scrittura e di realizzazione delle canzoni. Invece è bello esplorare, secondo me, questo prodotto, questo disco è molto euforico e abbatte tante barriere. Credo di aver detto più o meno, riassumendo un po' tutto quello che
a me piace molto questo concetto dell'esplorazione. Io avevo 16 anni quando ho ascoltato per la prima volta ascolta Urban Hymns, che è un album che mi ha cambiato la vita ed è un album che considero classico. Vorrei sapere se appunto nel continuare questo tipo di esplorazione Richard è colpito dalla scena attuale musicale, se ha dei nomi degli artisti che sta seguendo e che ama particolarmente. When Urban Hymns came out, I was 16 maybe in 1997, and it totally changed my life. You don't know how important you are, to me. Like talking about exploring music and exploring other, bands and artists. Are you listening to someone in particular in the current musical scene?
At the very moment, over a few years ago, I was kind of enjoying what some of the American, I wouldn't say it was like my favorite hip hop or the trap thing, but I just enjoyed how the producers were creating music for their environment, for the club or for the car. I do enjoy that people, like when Metro Boomin was creating stuff. So it's like I'm really more stuck. I'm kind of stuck in a classic sort of music thing. It's hard for me to move out of that, but I do really appreciate, like I always have done, really the way that hip hop moves on and moves forward. And it's kind of like a punk thing with certain hip hop where a lot of the old school, they say, oh, we don't like you sound, and often there's something great in a movement where people reject it. So I'd probably say, like, really not necessarily the songs, but I just enjoyed the production of some of the, like I said, a Metro Boomin, someone who was involved in that kind of trap sound from America, because I kind of appreciate it. I get a lot of from early hip hop, earlier hip hop, if I want to get motivated, I'll put on like a Nas track or something like that. I like the rock and roll used to have the braggadocious thing. Rock and roll can be anything it likes, but what hip hop took from rock and roll was, it's like John Lennon driving around in his like Rolls Royce. It's like Elvis in his pink Cadillac. It's like that element of the
swag,
the rock star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have that many. We don't have that kind of rock, and I miss the fact that rock and roll, so Urban Hymns, it had the swag, but it had the sensitivity, it had the darkness, it had the heaviness, it had so many elements to those songs, beautiful uplifting feeling that, anything's possible. So really, I think I'm kind of stuck. I'm stuck with Sly and the Family Stone. I'm stuck with the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, of course, and the Who, and all these greats. But a producer, I always look at what's America doing? What are the young hip hop guys doing? How are they creating? What are they doing? So it's kind of like torn between that. I'm torn between the classic, also how is someone making an 808 drum machine and some hi-hats and a sample maybe? What are they doing, Yeah. And because I always thought, like, when I made Finished Bittersweet, I just thought I've made the greatest, biggest hip hop rock thing that's ever been created.
Beh, iniziamo dal finale. Esatto. Cioè, lui ha detto, sta parlando bene, dice negli ultimi 5 anni ha ascoltato un sacco di pop e rap, perché dice a me piacciono i classici, Sly and the Family Stone, Rolling Stones, Beatles, ma mi piace sentire che cosa succede in America, cosa fanno i produttori, come fanno suonare una batteria elettronica, la famosa 808. E quando ho fatto Bittersweet Symphony ho detto, questa è la canzone più figa di pop e rock mischiato, no? Perché gli manca un po' quell'atteggiamento spacchiuso, se mi passate il termine, della rockstar, che ritrova un po' in un certo rap, no? A volte sento delle cose nuove rap e mi sembra di vedere John Lennon nella sua Rolls Royce, Elvis nella Cadillac, no? Cadillac. Chi l'avrebbe mai detto? Insomma, anche la trap, dice, non tanto dei nomi singoli, ma proprio il modo in cui...
Ha citato Metro Boomin.
Metro Boomin, che è un artista che gli piace. Ci sentiamo la sua nuova canzone e poi torniamo insieme, sperando che il collegamento funzioni meglio. Siamo con Richard Ashcroft su Radio DJ, questo è Loving You.